Welcome to Hill and Dale, and today spawning in the northwest corner of the map in blue is Valdemar 1902, playing as the Mongols. Today he's facing up against none other than Wham-O-1, playing in red, spawning in the southeast, playing as the Delhi Sultanate. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Hill and Dale, and what promises to be a fantastic match of Age of Empires 4. And, well, the reason why I say this is because both of these players are very highly ranked. Of course, we've got Wham, a known pro player. Has been at the beginning of the season, beginning of the scene of Age of Empires 4. Has done obviously very well in many different tournaments. Has been thereabouts in Red Bull Wallow Legacy. Has been there at the biggest tournaments, the S tier tournaments that Age of Empires 4 has to offer. And then we have a rising star in Valdemar, the kid, known by many, coined by Aussie Drongo himself. The kid Valdemar is a rising star, getting a lot of practice, a lot of games, playing against a lot of pro players and getting good wins, playing a lot of matches, and he's certainly going to be one to watch. I wouldn't be surprised to see him in many S-tier tournaments in the future. I think certainly has earned the name of a rising star in Age of Empires 4. Now, with this matchup, the Mongols and the Delhi Sultanate on Hill and Dale, it's certainly a fascinating one because of the fact that, well, both civilizations have a really nice aggression to them. They have this little kick up the backside that they give themselves to produce units, and of course with the Mongols, they have the Uvu that can double produce, which is obviously going to be producing those 2 spearmen from the barracks. It already has 2 on the field, already almost about 3 minutes on the mark, and he's already going to look to try and pressurize his opponent on the berries. Tower of Victory is the landmark of choice for Wham and the Delhi Sultanate, the landmark which increases the attack speed of their infantry by 20%. Again, focusing on military aspect of things, focusing on the aggression. Now, the reason why I'm fascinated by this matchup on this map in particular is because of the options that are available. So, like, initially, the Mongols have this little power spike in terms of being able to produce units quickly, which is obviously happening now. It's got 2 spearmen on the field already. But don't let that fool you about the Delhi Sultanate. They've got this little bit of a timing window where they can double produce from their production buildings by garrisoning their imams inside, courtesy of the upgrade, which has already been researched. I can't actually quite remember what it's called, but it enables the scholars and imams to garrison inside the production buildings and increase the production speed. So it comes to this point, say like 8 to 10 minutes of the game, where they can actually start to produce a lot quickly for the Delhi Sultanate. It's quite nice actually for that civilizations. But in terms of map presence at the moment for the Mongols, it's going to be better for the Mongols up to about 8 to 10 minutes. And as you can see this already, there's 4 spearmen here putting some pressure, trying to get a raiding bounty by setting this mill on fire. Will he manage it? That is the question. We might get a villager pick here actually. Tries to dive in a little bit. Wham keeps them alive. And this is why it's so important to keep your landmarks so close to each other when you're coming up against the Mongols. They can really pile on pressure. It's going to be deer stones. That's the... Oh, hang on a minute. That just changed. It looked like almost for a second there he was going to go for silver tree, but switched over to deer stones. So the reason why the Mongols, personally for me, are incredibly strong at the moment is because of their map presence and the ability of the Keshik to actually enable that. And the reason why that's so strong is because the Keshik is obviously an armored unit. It's almost like a weakened knight in many ways. It gets that positioning, gets the mobility on the field, but what it allows them to do, the Mongols, it keeps the enemy at home. And that allows them on the back lines of things, the back burners, to be able to establish trade. Now, it'd be interesting to see if Valdemar decides to go for trade on this map. It's a little bit awkward with the trade post where it is. It's not really nice in the corner. You kind of really want it here to be in the corner. So if he places the market here, there is a chance that the traders will go across the front of his base, which obviously is very unprotected, and he just wouldn't want that. So that's something he needs to consider if he wants to really do that strategy. He might want to try something else. Maybe a 2-town center play, because obviously the Delhi Sultanate tend to stay 1-town center themselves. We'll need to see how Valdemar decides to play this one out. In any case, I'd say that the Mongols certainly have the military superiority the first 8-10 minutes. And that's when the Delhi Sultanate start to come online. And the reason why it's so significant is Delhi Sultanate is one of the civilizations that does really prioritize map control. And the reason because of that is because one of the bonuses is essentially the sacred sites. Getting the sacred sites gets that free gold, but it also activates a win condition of 10 minutes timer. That 10 minutes, tick-tock, tick-tock. If it goes down to 0, Delhi Sultanate win. If they get the sacred sites, of course. Or any civilization if they get sacred sites. But what's special about the Delhi Sultanate is they have this access to sanctity, which allows the scholars to capture the sacred sites in the feudal age. And also gets them 25% more gold from the sacred sites. So it's very nice for them. Now, when we talk about Age of Empires 4, it's very much a heavily macro-orientated RTS game. And when we think of what's comparative between these two civilizations, we've got the town centers, obviously, both working at the same speed. It's absolutely neutral. It's a net net neutrality, if you like, for both civilizations. But what will be different is that the Delhi Sultanate have access to free technologies and also the ability to get sacred sites in the feudal age. The Mongols, on the other hand, I mean, in terms of the benefits that they get, it's not necessarily eco-based. They're very much military-based in terms of double production, but also trade. So the market and the trade is actually quite strong for the Mongols, primarily because obviously their presence on the field is so strong. And they also actually get some bonuses from their traders. They get a little bit of supplement of food and wood based on the number of traders they have, so it increases. Once you get 5 traders, they get more food and wood. When you get 10 traders, 15, and so on. They get a little bit more food and wood rather, in addition to the gold per trip. So that's something that they really benefit from for the trade. That's something that looks like Valdemar is looking to take advantage of. And we only have 1 blacksmith at the moment for WAM, so the technologies coming in will be a bit slow. You can only research 1 at a time. You can see it takes 2 minutes here, and this one will take 3 minutes 6 seconds. And this draws your attention to another concept with this matchup in particular, which is kind of quite interesting, is that the Mongols, they have this mechanic of just kind of building upon pressure. When they're aggressive, they pressure a lot, and they can even snowball things. And one of the reasons that is because of the raiding bounty. So he tried to get a raiding bounty by setting this building on fire. Didn't quite manage it, but once they get going and start burning stuff, they can really pile on pressure by getting the extra resources, putting them into military. Another way that the Mongols kind of have an upper edge against the Delhi Sultanate is the fact that when they take up to the castle age, the Mongols, they, as many other civilizations normally would, they research their technologies, quite quickly. The trouble for the Delhi Sultanate is that whilst the technologies are free, the problem is they're very slow to come in. So there is this window of opportunity when you're up against the Delhi Sultanate. If you get to the castle age first, that power spike is a little bit stronger. And it's because of the technologies that you can research. So whether it be blacksmith upgrades, economy upgrades, it can really pack a punch. So there is a bit of a timing window on that regard. I wonder whether Valdemar, and this game in particular, will lend itself to showcase that or not. We're at the 8 to 9 minutes now, and this is where you can see already the Delhi Sultanate starting to push forward. The miniature number is actually stronger for Delhi Sultanate, 17. So he's putting on a bit of pressure, and it comes down to a lot of it because of the economy upgrades. Now, both players do have wheelbarrow, but Delhi Sultanate have had double broadaxe rather for quite some time, and they had the pickaxe upgrade for the mining. So that's something kind of, although he's not really obviously using that at the moment. The wood income is going to be very, very nice for him. And that wood income is going to be supplemented into walls, the palisade walls, which is actually going to be trying to get the sacred sites. And you can see Valdemar keeping an eye on this. I don't think Valdemar can really engage us with this number of spearmen there, 4 of them. Especially with the Tower of Victory buff for them. 20% attack speed is pretty strong. Interestingly, he's going to go for survival techniques. So Valdemar looking to get the free food on the map in the form of deer. What if he's taking his home deer pack? We'll take a look at that in a second. He's left them alive for now, 2 of them. He's maybe looking to hunt on the field. In any case, he takes the engagement. Actually, a lot of the spearmen do go down for the Delhi Sultanate. This is being pushed back quite nicely by the archers from the Mongols. Looks like the central sacred site is not going to be captured just yet, so WAM having to hold on for now. 21 minutes to 21, and that little window opportunity that he had for a few seconds is just evaporated. But it will keep building, because the economy should be a little bit stronger for WAM in terms of upgrades. But the problem for WAM and the Delhi Sultanate is what the Mongols do. The positioning that he's had on the front of the field has kept Delhi Sultanate's army at home. Don't forget as well, the choice of the Tower of Victory and the choice of infantry units means that the mobility for the Delhi Sultanate isn't all that strong. And the trouble with that is that he can't really affect the trade all that much. Although, having said that, this scout and 2 Ghazi raiders are actually doing an incredibly good job trying to deny the trade that's coming out. We're going to look to try and snipe a trader. Only 4 traders so far, but it certainly helps. Now, we talked about the awkwardness of the trade route. I mean, look, you can see the trader going a very awkward route. I think he's going to go through here. Is it through the front? Yeah, he's going to go through the front of the base and have partial protection. But it's very awkward, and it's very suboptimal. It's something that's unfortunate for Valdemar's map generation. He might want to just move the market there and just try and defend his trade as much as possible. Because he's losing traders anyway. We'll have to see what he decides to do. In the middle of the map, he's going to look to secure that sacred site there, WAM. And I think at this point he does it. There's a lot of military here, 32 to 27, although I'm not sure all of it's there. Yeah, some of it's streaming forward. But, you know, the signal has been given to Valdemar, so he's going to head straight there now with his Keshiks and the archers on the back line. I'm not sure if Valdemar has enough here. 28 to 31. But don't forget that the upgrades are in for Wham in terms of at least the Iron Undermesh upgrade. So the archers won't be doing as much damage to the archers versus each other. There's a decent number of Keshiks there. There aren't quite enough spearmen that actually Wham would want. I think Valdemar pushes this back. It'd be a bit of a close one. I think it does because of the cavalry that's on the field. Well, there are a couple of spearmen heading in, but nice micromanagement of the army there for Valdemar. Picks away a couple of the spearmen. And it does look like it's a bit of a struggle on both sides. I wonder whether Wham just about edges this just because of the attack speed of the archers. We'll have to see. I think Wham backs off here. I don't think he can really take an effective fight. Keshik's coming in fast. Although it looks like Valdemar's heading back. I think he's going to try and defend the trade. Yeah, it's an issue. Just 1 to 2 Ghazi Raider here. Ghazi Raider doing exactly what their name suggests. They're raiding pretty heavily, and it looks like Valdemar is going to look to give up that central sacred site in order to save his trade. Speaking of trade, I was actually going to move his trade now a little bit further afield. And what's fascinating is the fact that despite the better eco upgrades, well, Valdemar actually has more economy units on the field by 7, which is a decent amount. Although he's going to lose one here. Does lose a trader, possibly going to lose a second. No, the Ghazi Raider will be sniped by the Keshiks with the massive charge attack and the boost from the Khan. Alright, well, it looks like Valdemar now can just look to focus on the middle a little bit. The one thing that Mongols obviously struggle with in some ways is the static defenses, right? They don't get access to palisade walls. They do get cheaper outposts, which is pretty strong. The market is dilly-dallying. Come on. Come on, buddy. It needs to unpack so the traders work again. It does have a couple of idle. I think obviously Valdemar's got his attention elsewhere. Let's take a look at what's happening back at home. He's investing in an archery range, got a secondary stable, 2 archery ranges, 2 stables, and a barracks. It looks going to be a very heavy feudal age. Looking to get the eco upgrades now with horticulture and double broadaxe, and looking to get a steeled arrow upgrade. A bit of a quiet time in the game so far, but as you can see, the archery range, 2 archery ranges rather, being garrisoned with the scholars. I think lost another trader there potentially. The Ghazi Raiders really living up to their name for the Delhi Sultanate today. Has got some palisade walls up nice and safely on the front lines. And looks like both players are taking a bit of a breather as it stands. I think Valdemar needs to do something about this though. If he loses this market, he needs to invest another bit of wood into another market. Lots of Keshiks getting decent value. Good, about 2-3 dead bodies there. He's got no way out here though. He might need to try and escape here. Oh, this is very nice play by Wham. He's actually going to trap him in. Very smart play. And the army's coming in to protect the woodline. That's actually very key. If the army wasn't there, that would be pretty bad positioning. And it looks like the Keshiks will be caught with their pants down. I don't think the Keshiks get out of here. The archers just going to cut off the retreat. There's no way out for these Keshiks, I'm afraid, for Valdemar. Very nice play by Wham. Especially because of the blocking here. Very nice trap. He's created a bit of a playpen. Yeah, these guys don't survive, I'm afraid, with those 3 spearmen and the archers. Really good snipe there by Wham. A couple of traders going to go to this other neutral market. This is actually a solid trade route here. The question is, it's very difficult to keep it safe when it's that close to Wham. But you might try it. Might get at least 1 or 2 drop-offs. We'll have to see. Good sniping on the Ghazi Raiders. That'll certainly help Valdemar's trade route stay alive for a bit longer. But this whole time, he does have the central sacred site. So Wham will be very happy with that. The military numbers really starting to build up, 53 to 38. But as you can see, the economy looking nice here for Valdemar. It's kind of surprising actually. I mean, how many units does he actually have? How many traders does he actually have? It feels like he has a lot less than is showing. Because he apparently has 9 extra units. 1 or 2 Keshiks, the Khan gets taken down. Does lose a sheep as well. He's witnessed a lot this sheep. But look at that, 61 military to 41. This could become a problem for Valdemar. He's going to take a bit of engagement here. Ghazi Raiders caught red-handed. They are going to be losing their lives. A bit of a throwaway of units there for Wham. A nice snipe off there for Valdemar. Archers heading further forward. Quite a bad exposed woodline. Wham saw that. The trouble is he can't really head forward with this number of Keshiks or cavalry on the field. At least 2 or 3. And they can really start to absorb the arrow fire. We can see a bit of an engagement here. I think Delhi Sultanate should be able to do a decent job here. He needs to get rid of the Keshiks. That's the issue. The kind of the meat shield is kind of a bit annoying here with the spearmen for him. Bit of overkill there. The cavalry now down for the Mongols. It's going to be archers versus archers. Just 1 or 2 Ghazi Raiders alive. Although 2 Keshiks coming in there on the wraparound from the north. They're going to do a lot of damage. Look at the arrow fire that they're absorbing. And you have to focus fire the Keshiks really, because every attack that they get off, they regenerate health. But he has to back off now. Wham doesn't have the numbers he wants, and he's going to be pushed back. Mongols are looking strong, 43 military to 48, but not all that 48 units are on the front lines just yet fighting. Looking to get the sacred site on the west and on the east. Has the palisade walls almost up here. That's going to be great for Wham if he can get the sacred site. Another bit of gold income. That might supplement his castle age timing. A bit of a dancing of units here. I think this is a good position. It could go either way, this middle fight, actually. Because of the Keshiks in particular engaging here quite nicely. Both players do have those upgrades from the Feudal age. So pretty neck and neck. 27 archers to 33. So there's a slight edge there for Valdemar. I think Valdemar wins this. I think Wham realizes it. He's trying to kite, trying to back away as much as he possibly can. Maybe looking to get behind the sacred sites. Does have, behind the walls rather, does have access to all 3 sacred sites. The countdown has started. That's 10 minutes. And New Khan does rise from the ashes. Oh, this is an interesting fight. 26 to 22. I mean, I think Valdemar wins that, but he doesn't want to take the risk. There's a couple of weak units there. Although I say that, but don't forget the 20% attack speed bonus that the Tower of Victory units have. Well, that probably would actually take that decisively for the Delhi Sultanate. A bit of a close one though, because the numbers really do matter in this situation. But what's really important to think about is the outposts that are now protecting mostly the trade route. It's got only 1 trader though. That's actually kind of rough. I'm surprised with the economy. Am I missing something here? How is Valdemar almost 8 villages ahead? He's only got a 2 differential of economy worker kills, so it's a little bit awkward. I think maybe there might have been some idle time from Delhi Sultanate's town centre. I'm not sure. It's very awkward to say the least. We'll lose the spearman on the right side of the map, and that's kind of unfortunate for him, but he does get that scouting information. Also deactivating the west sacred site with the Khan. There was no walls there. The army kind of caught that position that, he just kind of lacks the mobility in many ways. Without the cavalry on the field, they're going to go westwards. I think he's going to give up the right side in sacred site. There's not much you can do about that. The scholar, though, staying on this west sacred site, keeping it for a period of time, which is quite nice. And I wouldn't be surprised to see a couple of units for the Mongols head in that position. The archers, they could try and snipe out some traders maybe, and try to snipe out some eco. Keshik is backing away, probably would be 3-shotted. Nice number of military there. Arrow slits coming in the outpost, that would be pretty strong there for the Mongols to protect that economy. Does still have the right side sacred site for a period of time because of the palisade walls. Actually very strong. But 10 eco units advantage for Valdemar. It's actually going to be escalating quite nicely for his economy as the game wears on. The more villages you have, obviously the better for the economy and the military production because of it. And these small differences actually really make a big difference at this level of gameplay. Okay, a couple of traders are starting to build up in number. How many has he got now? 3 or 4? Maybe 5? There we go. 5 so far. Nice snipe on the Keshik. It's getting to a dangerous position where the arch numbers are going to be building up to be able to one-shot these Keshiks potentially. 8 minutes on the sacred site timer. Oh, this is an interesting play. Look at the numbers at the top. Valdemar looking to get to that castle age. And he's going to get there very soon. He's going to go with this step down. It's because of the fact the trade hasn't been established as well as he possibly would want to have had. Kurultai could have been a nice option, but I think he just wants to prioritize gold here. Now this is an interesting approach because we talked about this earlier in the cast. There's a bit of a timing window here for the Mongols and many other civilizations when they go against the Delhi Sultanate. The power spike in Castle Age arguably for the Mongols is just a little bit stronger than the Delhi Sultanate because of the ability to get those upgrades very quickly. The Delhi Sultanate are capped. When the Delhi Sultanate get to the Castle Age, it will still take about 2-3 minutes to get any sort of upgrade, especially if you've only got 1 blacksmith, because you can only queue 1 up at a time. And the fact that the lack of mosques for the Delhi Sultanate with Wham means that research times will be very, very slow. And so the Mongols will have this timing attack where as long as he has sort of similar equal number of units, he'll be able to take a much better fight with the upgrades. Keshik will snipe the scholar for now, but he will lose his life to the Ghazi Raiders. The Ghazi Raiders actually did a pretty decent amount of damage to that thing. But certainly now, the priority for Valdemar is just to back off and get to the Castle Age. And you can, the pro players really get a sense for this sort of timing of the gaming. Like, he understands why I'm here, that his opponent hasn't piled on any pressure for a long time. And that must mean he's going to the Castle Age, right? So he is actually going to get to the Castle Age a bit quicker for the Mongols, Valdemar. That is very significant in and of itself, because even if they went up to the same age, the Castle Age at the same time, you remember, Valdemar has an advantage being able to get those upgrades quicker. Look at this. He's getting the veterancy for his Keshiks, veterancy for his archers, and already getting balanced projectiles. So that's already going to be coming in faster, just courtesy of the quicker uptime, but also because of the fact that he doesn't have to wait with a cap of research time. He's going to, research is very quickly for him compared to the Delhi Sultanate, of course. Now, the Delhi Sultanate will be going up with the Commander of the Defender, but, this is a very tricky situation for Wham. He does have access to the 3 sacred sites, but the question is how well can he defend them for the next 2 to 3 minutes, because he's going to need to survive the next 2 to 3 minutes to be able to get those upgrades. He only has 1 scholar in 1 mosque. Those upgrades are going to take an eternity. Or what at least was going to feel like an eternity. He does now start to research. Look at that, 4 minutes, 4.5 minutes that he has to wait, with his opponent already having the veterancy upgrades, having the blacksmith upgrades. This is such a strong timing window for Valdemar's Mongols to win this game. Even more reason now that Valdemar needs to be careful, doesn't need to throw units, wants to make sure he gets his upgrades. He's going to get the second archer armor upgrade, ranged armor upgrade, wedge rivets. Going to snipe the scholar there, carrying the relic. And I think actually at this point, Valdemar might be comfortable taking the fight. He's got veterancy, he's already got the attack upgrade on his archers. He knows that his opponent doesn't have those upgrades, and he might not necessarily have the numbers advantage. 55 to 77, he actually does a very big deficit, but it's a bit interesting one, especially because these archers for the Delhi Sultanate do have the 20% attack speed, but he needs to wait for the veterancy. He can't really afford to fight without this. It's still going to be 1.5 minutes left on the ticking timer. He should be able to survive for the next 1.5 minutes. We'll see. We'll see if he fights this. He's just poking and prodding. I think Wham is just dancing around. He's not going to engage. He can't afford to engage. If he does, he straight up loses. I think even the 20% attack speed just won't compare to the veterancy and the upgrades that are already coming. The concern for Wham, though, is that the blacksmith upgrades are already in for Valdemar. So even if the veterancy comes in for the archers, he has still got another 3.5 minutes of balanced projectiles, and he won't even have the second ranged armor upgrade. He won't have wedge rivets. He's going to be at a big disadvantage for a very long time in terms of unit quality, and I think this is going to need a change in tactic. He's going to need to go for the lancers. The trouble is the Mongols have the Keshiks. It's such a big concerning feature for this Delhi Sultanate and this matchup that he's going to struggle with. 5 traders on the field, but 3 sacred sites still on the field. That's going to buy him time. I think the play here for Wham has got to be to get a keep. He needs to buy time. The question is, does he have villagers on stone? He's got a couple. I'm worried about the state of the game for Wham. Because of the fact that there's only 7 villagers on stone, he's going to need to be able to build a keep on the front lines, maybe here, but I don't think he has that time. Look at the Khan getting some scouting information. He knows what's up. Okay, the veterancy is going to come in very quickly in 8 seconds, but he doesn't have the blacksmith upgrades. I think if Valdemar takes the fight right now, there's a good chance he wins. The Lancers will have something to say about that, and also defensive advantage. Here comes the push, the 20% attack speed of the Dome of the Tower of Victory of these veteran units, the archers. He takes the fight. Keshik's absorbing a lot of the archer fire. Lancers are dwindling in numbers. Look at this, the veteran archers for the Mongols really starting to pack a punch. 84 of them versus 73. Okay, that's bad news for Wham. He will not win this fight, not by any means. He's outnumbered, outgunned. The blacksmith upgrades for the Mongols going to win this fight for him. We talked about how important that is, and look at the numbers. They're absolutely dwindling. You can see the dead bodies, the red ones. Oh, this is such a bad fight for Wham. This could be the game. 2 Lancers going to charge in. That might be his only opportunity to get back into this fight. The defender's advantage. But look, the numbers of the veteran archers still slicing the way from the Lancers. Don't forget, there's no archer armor. There's no ranged armor upgrades for these Lancers. They still die pretty quickly. A couple of spearmen in the mix as well. Oh, this is going from bad to worse for Wham. He wasn't able to get that keep in the end. And that's really possibly what he needed. But yeah, the numbers starting to dwindle. And this is going to get worse. I'm surprised that Wham's continuing with the fight. He's not backing up behind the palisade walls. I think he needs this wood. He's struggling for wood at this point. Yeah, he's really struggling for wood. There's no other wood on his hill. A very rough wood line. But the Mongols now going to start focusing on the villagers. 46 minutes to 32. You feel that the match is going in the way of the Mongols. The Delhi Sultanate slowly losing their grip in this position. Villagers going down as well. And this is looking bad. Lost the center of sacred site. Lost the west side sacred site. And that was his one win condition that was in full flow. But it doesn't look like it's going to happen now. The villagers need to get out of there. Uh-oh. They could be trapped. Valdemar doesn't spot it. Gonna look to snipe out the scholars instead. And I don't know if there's a way back for Wham here. He's behind on economy, behind on military. Well, does get a keep on the west side though. Interesting choice. He will be able to build up number of villages, but it's not enough. He does tap out Wham here, and Valdemar with a punishing display of the Mongols with a fantastic match on Hill and Dale. Hope you guys enjoy this casted game and the strategy talk behind it. Hopefully, see you on the next game.